Have you ever wondered who is Jamaica's most scandal-hit politician of all time?
Hi, I'm Phillip Paulwell. I'm the current Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal.
Opposition Member of Parliament Phillip Paulwell has achieved meteoric rise, public stardom and adulation at a national level. The current Shadow Minister on Energy and PNP Vice President was front and center in calling for resignations during the height of the recent Petrojam scandal, which has rocked the ruling Jamaica Labour Party. But does Paulwell have the moral authority to ask for resignations? Because to say that Paulwell has had a highly questionable political career is an understatement.
Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
Paulwell, born on January 14, 1962, is the Member of Parliament for the constituency of Kingston East and Port Royal, and former Minister of Energy, Mining, Science and Technology. Paulwell, though, seems to be the most skilled politician of all times, as he gets away every time. He has never faced the consequences and results of his actions. A lawyer by training, Paulwell started his mainstream political career in 1995 as Senator and Minister of State in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce in the P.J. Patterson-led administration. Paulwell was identified from early by the PNP as one for the future, and by 1997 he was elected as the Member of Parliament for the old Michael Manley seat of Kingston East and Port Royal. He has not lost the seat since and was appointed as Minister of Commerce and Technology by Patterson. In April of 2001, Paulwell, then Minister of Industry, Commerce and Technology, instructed the Office of Utility Regulation, the OUR, to stop interfering with the rate charge for fixed to mobile calls. He intervened in March of 2002 by calling then OUR Director General Winston Hay with the good news that a fourth telecommunications company was interested in the provision of service to Jamaica, but would only do so if the fixed to mobile rates remained unchanged. But Hay refused. The minister would not be stopped and thus issued a directive which effectively restricted the role of the OUR to set rates and tariffs on interconnections. The OUR took the matter to court, and the Supreme Court ruled that the minister had no power to issue the directive he did. The Court of Appeal later ruled that Paulwell's directive to the OUR fell outside of his ministerial ambit. Minister Paulwell was apparently not insulted, injured, and certainly not daunted. Then NetServe, another disaster in judgment, came. NetServe was one of the information technology companies which Paulwell had projected would provide 40,000 jobs over a 3-year period, and which was able to tap into the multi-million-dollar Intech Fund at low interest to help in its startup. The fund was managed by the National Development Bank of Jamaica, NIBJ, but project proposals and requests for loans were evaluated by an interagency committee headed by the top civil servant in Paulwell's ministry, and on which the minister sometimes sat himself. But it emerged that in the case of NetServe, the NIBJ disbursed the first of $95 million of an $180 million loan, even before there were due diligence reports on NetServe and its principal, Trinidad businessman Paul Pereira. Even after reports emerged raising questions about the ethics of Pereira and some of his business partners, the NIBJ continued with its disbursements to the company, although there was to have been a tighter process of accountability. NetServe collapsed in December and was placed in receivership by the NIBJ, with Pereira claiming that bad publicity, violence in Jamaica, and the September 11 terrorist attacks in the United States had scared off investors. Over $200 million Jamaican dollars was squandered on this project, involving a dubious company. Massive pressure from civil society, the private sector and the opposition Jamaica Labour Party called for Paulwell to be fired. Instead, Patterson decided to fan away Paulwell's actions as youthful exuberance. In 2006, moves were made in Parliament to censor Paulwell, owing to what became known as the cement fiasco. The Caribbean Cement Company recalled some 500 tons of faulty product. Minister Paulwell was accused of negligence and gross dereliction of duty. It was argued that Paulwell, despite recommendations from the Jamaica Bureau of Standards, failed to exercise his ministerial authority to declare that the production of cement needed to conform to the Bureau's certification program. Paulwell was also accused of providing false information to Parliament. A US cable leak noted that the fiasco nearly crippled the local construction industry and caused severe shortages. Some experts in the construction industry estimated at the time that the Jamaican economy lost over $100 million per day. In 2007, Paulwell was again embroiled in controversy after he said that the sale of a fourth mobile license would go to a company called Solitria Jamaica Limited. This company was to pay US $7.5 million for the license. When questions were asked about the entire process, it emerged that Paulwell had issued the license without all the required due diligence and notifications to the necessary public agency who needed to agree to the sale. Then there was the Cuban light bulb scandal. The Jamaican government amassed a US $3.9 million bill for the distribution of 4 million energy-saving fluorescent bulbs donated by the Cuban government to the people of Jamaica. Investigation led to the matter being turned over to the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Fraud Squad. Karen Spencer, then Minister of State in the Ministry of Energy, Industry and Commerce, and his personal assistant, Colleen Wright, were arrested on numerous charges. Paulwell, who was then Minister of Energy, Industry and Commerce, was absolved of any wrongdoing by the PNP-controlled Parliament. In 2014, Paulwell pulled off another stay of execution. 4 years, successive governments have been trying to arrive at a solution to the high cost of local electricity. A 381 megawatt power plant was said to be the answer. Paulwell, despite local and international warnings regarding Energy World International, went ahead and unilaterally changed the terms and conditions of the license that was given to him by the OUR and issued an amended license to EWI. The Contractor General at the time, Derek Harrison, in a report to Parliament, said that Energy World International was being improperly facilitated by Minister Paulwell in the bidding process. The Contractor General described the Minister's intervention and acceptance of the bid from Energy World International as unfair and said it compromised the integrity of the process, given that Energy World International entered the process after bids had been closed, and its application went to Minister Paulwell's ministry on its way to the Office of Utility Regulations. Based upon the documentary evidence which was reviewed, it is clear that the goalpost kept moving to facilitate Energy World International's proposal, and that the process in its current form could not stand up to review, Mr. Harrison wrote in his report. Mr. Paulwell responded to the Contractor General's findings by stating that we cannot have the OCG derailing this matter again. It has to go forward. Let me make it quite clear. I have a Minister of Energy in place. Unless he does something wrong that would affect and impact the Jamaican people in a serious way and the government of Jamaica, he will not be fired, Portia Simpson Miller said in responding to a question from then opposition leader Andrew Holness.
Teach them! Hey, yo, hello! Send the message and make it reach them. It's teach them. Right here. Warlord representing.
Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below. Remember to like and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. Follow me on social media and check out the suggested videos on screen. This is Teach saying, until next time, walk good, my friends.